So in the previous class we were doing the supervised learning, and in the supervised learning we were doing about the regression problems. So regression, I have told you, that is basically that we are trying to predict the continuous value, in which the value is continuous. You want to predict that, and if you want to predict some concrete values, some discrete values, that is the classification problem. And in this, what we will do, we have a training set. We will apply the learning algorithm over our hypothesis, and we learn the parameter of hypothesis in a way that when we provide the unknown input x, it will give me the output y, and for the training set it is as close as possible to the result in a way that the error would be minimum. So for this, what we have done, we have taken the hypothesis as the theta naught plus theta 1 plus theta 2. Three parameters need to be compute, and we write hypothesis as theta 0 plus theta 1 x1 plus theta 2 x2 for hypothesis, and we have extend this for n numbers, that is summation from I0 to n theta I xi, and in vector it can be written as theta transpose x. For this we have taken the cost function, and the cost function is given as half of the summation I from 1 to m. H theta xi is the input minus yi is the output, corresponding output of the ith value, and whole square, that is the summation of square values, and also known as the mean square values, but we are not considering mean here, so we can say sum of square error. So next we have used the LMS algorithm. In LMS algorithm we have used the gradient descent. In gradient descent we will update the parameter in a way that it will reach the minimum value of this cost function as fast as possible. In a way, the parameters are improved by theta j minus alpha times the partial derivative of j theta with respect to theta j. So for this we have computed the partial derivative as this is equal to hx minus y into xj. When we substitute that back in the same equation, we got the LMS update rule, and as per this LMS update rule, the theta j is theta j plus alpha times the means the new value of theta j is equal to the previous value of theta j plus alpha times yi minus h theta xi into xj. So this is the value we can use, and this yi minus h theta is the error term, obviously, because it is the difference given by the output and the training value. Training value is y, and the output of my hypothesis is h theta. Now for each I have to do the same thing. So I will do the repeat until convergence. That would be my LMS algorithm. This is also known as batch gradient descent. So within the batch gradient descent, what we have done, repeat until convergence, you use the same equation for every value of j. You keep on doing this until and unless you got the minimal error, that is known as optimization problem. This thing is effective when the surface have one single minimum, isn't it? When it is having the global minimum. What is the global minimum? Then it is fine that you started the values of two parameters, say theta 0 and theta 1. In this case we have started from around 48, and this is 28. It keep on moving to the minimum value, say at 25, 25. In this way, we have computed for my example, in which one side the living area and the other side is the prices. So that housing price is computed by my hypothesis, in which theta 0 is 71.27 and theta 1 is 0.1345. This line indicates that the values given in this example are quite close to this. since it is a linear line, linear regression we are doing, we can extend this for more number of input features. When the input feature increases, the number of parameters are also kept on increasing. So we have increased one more feature, that we have increases the number of bedroom. So when the number of bedrooms were included, then in that case theta 0 would come out to be 89.6, theta 1 would be 0.1392 and theta 2 would be minus 0.378. Now this time this is not shown, although it is a linear, but now it is linear surface. Theta 0, theta 1, theta 2 will represent a linear surface, whereas previously it is represented with a line, simple line, because there are two parameters. So similarly, in this way, we extend the same algorithm in the stochastic gradient descent. The same result would be get, but this is quite easy to do. The number of steps in the stochastics are very less as compared to the batch gradient descent. Other thing we have done, that if we represent our, if we have the input features or the output as a very less number of input feature or very compact number of input feature, then in that case what we can do, we will basically take them as a matrix. Suppose input feature are represented with x vector and the output features are represented with the y vector. When we have computed that, we can compute our hypothesis also with the vector x transpose theta. We keep on doing this and we have found that the final result is the values of theta we can compute using this formula, that is x transpose x inverse x transpose y. So we will take also an example over it in the next class. I forgot that. This is an important, because you can expect the question in the examination basis on this, that some matrix is given x and y, you need to compute the theta. So this will result in the minimum value of theta. So in this case you have done two cases, one with the gradient descent, other with the matrix method. So both these result in the values of theta. Similarly, there is other kind of regression problem also known as logistic regression. We were not doing this locally regression, that is not part of your course. Still, if you want to learn, you can learn. I have also posted this in your group. Maybe someone deleted it, I don't know who deleted that. I have posted that in the files of this. In file there is the class material folder is there. So in that you will get linear logistic regression, and in that case you will get this. So if you face any problem, you must read that. So that is the part of the linear regression. Now we will start with logistic regression. Logistic regression is also known as classification. Classification, I have told you the same thing, but it will result in the output as classes. It is same as regression, but the output finally is regression, so there is minor change. If we take the output value as two values, that is the 0 and 1 only, that is true, false, 0, 1, yes, no, there are only two values, then that is known as binary classification. Otherwise it is known as multi-class classification. So what basically we will do, in this case we will use the logistic function or the sigmoid function. This thing we have already studied, that the sigmoid function is given by gz 1 over 1 plus e to the power minus z. So we will represent our hypothesis as the g of theta transpose x. Theta transpose x is same as your hypothesis in previous case, in the case of linear regression. But the only change is this: now we will passing the same theta transpose x, the same hypothesis given by the linear regression. Now it would be passed through a function gx, that gz is given by 1 over 1 plus ez, e to the power minus z. So in that case, this is the function. This function is now our hypothesis. So this will result in two values, either 0 or 1. We are doing binary regression first, binary classification first. This is our logistic function, isn't it? This logistic function is, if the value of z is more than 0.5, then that would result in 1. If the value of z is less than 0.5, then the value of g is more than 0, then g of z is 1. And if the value of z is less than 0, then g of z is 0, as given by this function. So we will keep on putting this value of the theta transpose x in this function to get our output. So that our new hypothesis is, according to this function, g of z is 1 over 1 plus e to the power minus z. So substituting theta transpose x in spite of g, so we will get 1 over 1 plus e to the power minus theta transpose x, as given by this equation. So this is our logistic function or sigmoid function, and this is now our hypothesis. 1 over 1 plus e to the power minus theta transpose x. That is now our new hypothesis. This thing I have already told you, that in the case of the sigmoid function, if we take the derivative, then you would get the output as gz over 1 into 1 minus gz. This thing we have already seen in the previous classes, so I am not going to explain this. Still, it is very clearly explained here. If you still want to read, you can read. So this property is very useful property of the sigmoid function. This is also very important from the examination point of view. So we will write the output as, in this case, we will need to compute the log likelihood of this function. Now how to compute the likelihood first, and then we will compute the log likelihood. What we will do, we will write the probability of getting 1 given x parameterized by theta is equal to the hypothesis of x, that is true, and probability of getting 0 given x parameterized by theta I think connection has been disturbed. Okay, fine. Now it is okay. So what we were doing, that we have considered that probability of getting 1 is h of theta, and the probability of getting 0 as 1 minus h of theta. We will write it as in a compact form, that is probability of getting y as h theta y and 1 minus h theta 1 to the power 1 minus y. Now if y is 1, so it is, you can see the first term is present. If y is 0, then the second term is present. So both of them are written along with. Now to compute the likelihood, why we need to compute the likelihood? Because we want to compute the error now. In this case, what would be the error, so that we will minimize it in a way so that we can get a difference between the output and the input as less as possible. Whereas in the case of linear regression, we have directly used the gradient descent algorithm. because the output is getting up in continuous form, but here the outputs are available in discrete form, either 0 or 1. So we need to define that what could be the likelihood of getting 1 or 0. So we are trying to find that. So likelihood is given by the probability of y given x parameterized by theta. If you compute this, that is this pi indicates the multiplication of the probabilities of y. In this case, my ith input is I from 1 to n. This pi means the multiplication of all the values of probabilities for each value of getting yth output for the given x, parameterized by theta. Parameterized by theta is nothing but we will use the function that is we have defined here, that is h theta y and 1 minus h theta 1 minus y. The same is used here. This is my likelihood of this function. Now if my likelihood is more, then my log likelihood is also more. So I will take the log likelihood of this function, log of this function, that is log likelihood. We need to maximize it. Maximize in the sense that what we are saying, it means that there are number of inputs present, and on the basis of the input features, what outputs would give you the 1, or the what outputs with what are the inputs that result in output 1, or what are the inputs that give you the 0. If we considering the binary classification, then in that case the log likelihood is the log of the above function. So that if you take the log of that, then for uh, for the log, the power would comes ahead, and it is log of the second one. Similar multiplication turn to plus, and the 1 minus y is come ahead, and log of the second function. This is the log likelihood. Now our target is to maximize it. So to maximize it, again we use the derivative of the log likelihood function, and we will set this to 0 to get our output, isn't it? But this is the log likelihood, and we are getting the values now, which is for a continuous range, because we have make our problem in a way that we can get the outputs as 0 or 1, considering that x is the continuous, y is also become the continuous, because when we take the lot of inputs, that would result in output 1. So on the basis of this, we will compute the derivative of log likelihood function with respect to theta. So you can solve it. It is very easy to solve. It is no problem in solving this. Still, if you got some problem, then we will discuss about these differentiations. Some part is required little bit of mathematics. So the final output again in this case is same, the y minus h theta x into xj as we got in the previous case, that is in the case of linear regression. So we will use the same into the gradient descent rule. We got the same function theta j plus alpha times yi minus h theta minus xj. Same function we will get in the case of linear regression, we will get in the case of logistic regression. There is no difference between the two, isn't it? So the next we will do the perceptron learning algorithm. In the case of perceptron learning, we will set the g of z as 1 if z is more than 0, and if it is 0 if z is less than 0. So this function is somewhere like a step function, not given here. So this is the function in which it is going towards 0. In this function, when g of z is more than 0, then it will result in 1 towards 1, and g of z is less than 0, then it is towards 0. Now, if we set as a step, then if g of z is less than 0, then it would be complete 0, and if g of z is more than 0, then it would be complete 1. So, if we take that kind of function, that is the perceptron learning rule. In that case, the rule is same. The theta j is alpha times theta j is theta j plus alpha times yi minus h theta into xj. That is the rule we are going to use, but we are use only the one change. That is, in this time the h theta is g of theta transpose x, where g is your step function as defined above. So if you solve it, you will get the output for the perceptron learning as we have got there. It is in the similar case as we got in the logistic regression, linear regression. So please remember, logistic regression is no way different than linear regression. The only difference occurs is when the output is fed to this function, in which the output is given by the to which class this belongs to. Whether the output belongs to class 0 or class 1, if it is a binary classification. The only simple change is this, nothing else. Whereas in the case of perceptron, this is the true binary class, it is either 0 or 1. That would result in either 0 or 1, the same updation rule. This thing we need to understand a little bit more. This is about the maximizing of the log likelihood function L of theta, that how to maximize it, another algorithm to maximize the L of theta. In the previous case, what we have used the to maximize it, we have taken the uh, case in the linear regression in a way that we will consider it as a gradient ascent algorithm. Gradient ascent algorithm is maximize it, we will get the same output, that is theta j plus alpha times yi minus h theta into xi. That is the LMS rule. We have computed this with the log likelihood function. This thing we have already done. Now the same thing, the same explanation can be given using another algorithm. This thing is for those users who are quite interested to study about the more details of this topic. So I am explaining it for them. Uh, Please listen. Now this is the about the Newton method. In this Newton method, your theta update is theta minus f of theta over f derivative of f theta. So this is the Newton update rule. Now if you see, according to Newton update rule, suppose this is the function. The first graph is the function which you want to, in which we want to minimize the output. Remember, we want to find the values of those theta which would give me the minimum values of y minus h theta. Summation y minus h theta whole square. The output given by the examples y, and the h theta is the output given by the values of theta considering the input features as x. If you take that, then in that case, this is your the first tangent is drawn. So we keep on moving this tangent over this in a way that the resultant would be the minimum slope. So that would be considered in the case of Newton method. In this case, what we will do, we will start here. We will check the slope. Then we in the second figure you can see the slope is at around 4.5. One point is at 4.5 and other point is at 40. Similarly, you change the value of this tangent, that is 1x is around 2.8 or 2.9. X is around 2.8. So that would be result in more minimum slope. So that would be the minimum value of this. So in this way, how the Newton method is keep on computing. So with this way, we will use the same thing for the log likelihood. In the previous case, we have used derivative of log likelihood and get our output in the case of stochastic gradient or gradient ascent. So in this case, if we want to maximize the function, we will use it for the minimization. Please remember that output is maximizing or minimizing are just one thing. Suppose it's a binary function, so minimum is if it is having a value between 0 to 1. If I say minimize, it means that its value is minimum from 0 to 1. Or if I say maximize, then the same thing minima can be used as 1 minus that minimum value would be the maximum. That is one and the same thing. Either we take maximum or we take minimum. So that is one and the same thing. So either we will maximize or minimize, that is as per the need. The same algorithm can be maximized, can be used for minimized, just in a way that how we can change the input fed to it. That is 1 minus x, that would, if we take, then that would be maximized, that is equal to minimum of x. One and the same thing. So Newton method is used here to minimize rather than maximize. The result would be same, just we will let the input change to get our minimum value or the maximum value. और मैं आपको ये बताऊं, अगर आप समझें कि आपके पास एक कटोरी है, राइट, कटोरी का सबसे नीचे अगर आप उसे सीधा रखते हैं तो सबसे नीचे आएगा मिनिमम वैल्यू, राइट, और अगर आप उसी कटोरी को उल्टा रख देते हैं तो सबसे नीचे जो आएगा वो 1 माइनस होगा, वो सबसे ऊपर वाली वैल्यू. सो दैट इज वन एंड सेम थिंग. यू हैव द सेम कटोरी एंड दैट इज can give you the minimum value, can give you the maximum value, isn't it? If you put that ball upward down, then the minimum value is in the bottom point, and if you put the ball in the downside upward, then the maximum value is at the toughest point. So that is one and the same thing. Either you find the minimum value or the maximum value. So in this case, if I apply the Newton method to minimize rather than maximize, then we can use this rule, that is theta as theta minus L prime theta. L prime theta means that is the derivative of log likelihood function, and the L double prime theta means that is the double derivative of the log likelihood function. So if you solve this, then that would be a Hessian matrix, and that is not part of this course. So I suggest that you just take the result in that case. So in that case, the output is fast, but the output is for this is the output. The output is getting very fast, but this is for very small number of features we can take. The reason is simply because it's a matrix, and in matrix we have uh, some standard storage capacity. We cannot solve the matrix for the large number of inputs. So if that is a Hessian matrix, so that is double derivative of log likelihood function theta for the theta I and the theta j for the row of theta and the column theta. So in MATLAB or another thing, there are direct computation of the Hessian matrix. You can compute the Hessian matrix, put in this, and directly get the updates of theta. That is with the Newton rule. So unless and until you want do the some numericals, or you want do some programming example over it, you won't get this. So my suggestion to you, in the previous class also I have told you that go to some examples also. You should not uh, take it as that much linear. So this is not part of this course, generalized linear models. So that is over from my side today. If you have any doubts, you can ask.